Have you ever stopped to think about how language actually works? I mean, how a bunch of random words can suddenly create a picture or an entire story in your head? Well, today, we're going to crack that code. We are breaking language down into its most basic, essential parts. Take a look at this sentence. The sun shines bright. 4 simple words. You read it and you instantly get it. But why? What's the magic trick that makes this work so perfectly? And that's really the big question, isn't it? It feels completely automatic, but there's actually a super powerful system working behind the scenes. A set of rules our brains just know how to follow. So what's the secret? It's teamwork. That's it. Every single word in a sentence has a job to do. So for this explainer, I want you to think of language as a sports team, and the parts of speech are all the different players, each one with a very specific role on the field. And just like any team, you've got your star players who get all the attention. And then you've got the essential support crew. Let's go ahead and meet the whole lineup. So our language team is basically split into 2 groups. You've got the major players, these are the heavy lifters, nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. Then you have the minor players, your pronouns, prepositions, conjunctions, and interjections. They might seem small, but trust me, the game absolutely does not work without them. All right, let's start with the stars of the show. The words that really carry the main meaning of pretty much every sentence you say or write. First up, nouns. Think of these as the main characters on our team. A noun is just a name for a person, a place, a thing, or even an idea. They can be concrete things you can literally touch like a desk or a cat, or they can be abstract concepts you can only think about like justice or love. Next, meet the verb. This is the action hero. The verb is the engine of the sentence. It tells you what the noun is doing, like wrote or ran, or what state it's in, like is or seems. Seriously, without a verb, nothing happens. It's just a static picture with no movement. Then we have the adjectives. These are the team's descriptive specialists. Their whole job is to add color and detail to the nouns. So it's not just a room, it's a hot room. It's not just a car, it's a fast car. Adjectives are what make our language really vivid and specific. And rounding out our major players, we have the adverbs. Now, if adjectives describe nouns, adverbs describe almost everything else, especially verbs and other adjectives. They're the ones answering the key questions: how, when, where, how much. So Jack eats quickly. Tom works here. The flower is very beautiful. You see, they add this crucial layer of precision. Okay, so we've met the stars, but a team is nothing without its support crew, right? Now it's time to meet the unsung heroes, the players who connect everything and make the whole sentence actually flow. First up in the support crew is the pronoun, our substitute player. Okay, imagine saying this out loud. Rachel saw the dog when the boys bought the dog. It's so clunky, right? Well, pronouns swoop in to make it smooth. She saw it when they bought it. See? They're all about making language more efficient. And pronouns are super versatile. They actually change their form depending on the job they're doing. If the pronoun is the one doing the action, it's a subject pronoun, like he threw the ball. But if it's on the receiving end of that action, it becomes an object pronoun. Throw the ball to him. Next up, prepositions. These are the location players. Think of them as the GPS of your sentence. These little words are absolutely critical for telling us where and when things are happening. They show relationships in space and time. The cow is in the garden. I'll meet you at 10 o'clock. They basically orient us so we know what's going on. Then we have conjunctions. These are the team's connectors. They're basically the glue. Words like and, but, and if let us build really complex thoughts by linking different words, phrases, or even whole ideas. In a sentence like, I am tired, but I can't sleep, that tiny word but does all the heavy lifting, connecting 2 totally different ideas. And finally, the interjection. This is the emotional player on the team. It's just a burst of feeling that isn't really grammatically connected to anything else. Like, wow, that's a great play, or, oh, I see what you mean. They're all about adding that little dash of personality and emotion. So, we've met the whole team. Everybody seems to have their position locked down, right? Nouns are nouns, verbs are verbs, everything's neat and tidy. Well, what if I told you that a single player could play almost any position on the field? Okay, this is where the game completely changes. Just look at the word well. In you need to dig a well, it's a noun, a thing. In you dance well, it's an adverb describing how you dance. In you look well, It's an adjective. It can even be an interjection. Well, I agree. Or a verb. My eyes were well up. This reveals the big secret. A word's part of speech depends entirely on what it's doing in the sentence. And just when you thought we had it all figured out, there's a little debate happening among the experts. For decades, we were all taught that there were 8 players on the team. But what if there's a secret 9th player that's been hiding in plain sight this whole time? Let me introduce you to the determiner. This is our 9th player. For the longest time, words like the, my, and this were just thrown in with the adjectives. But modern grammarians argue they have a very unique job. They introduce and specify a noun. They aren't just describing it, they're pointing to it, saying which one. And that special job is why most experts now count 9 parts of speech. This all leads us to the single most important rule of this entire game, and it's summed up perfectly right here. You can't just look at a word by itself and know what it is. You absolutely have to see it in action, playing its position in a sentence. Context is everything. So, this means we need to completely reframe how we think about grammar. We've all been trained to ask one specific question our whole lives, but it turns out it's actually the wrong one. This is the real question. What is its function? What job is it performing for the team in this exact moment? The second you start asking what a word is doing, grammar stops being a boring list of things to memorize and turns into a dynamic, logical system you can actually understand and use. So there you have it. You know the players, you know their positions, and you know the strategy. The building blocks are all yours now. So the only question left is, what kind of powerful sentences are you going to build?